So welcome everyone, my name's Val, thank you for joining me. Today we're just going to do a short session on opening out our hips. So we'll just start by sitting on the floor, feeling our sitting bones engage with the mat, and just try and bring the soles of your feet together. So they may be quite far in front of you, which is fine, or you just may want to see if you can bring them closer to your body. So just find with what works for you. And if you want, you can get some cushions either side of your thighs if you feel like you need some support, but otherwise just try and let your knees fall out to the side, keeping your chest lifted. It's as if your spine is extending out of your pelvis, so you're finding that length in your spine. And then grab hold of your feet, so just imagine that you're opening your feet like a book, so your soles of your feet are together, but you're just gently opening out the soles of your feet. You may just start to feel your knees slightly going further down towards the mat. And then breathing in, lifting up your chest, and breathing out, just start to take a bend in the elbows and folding forward. So it's not about how far you go, it's just more about finding that nice edge which feels like you're just pushing into some areas of tension and just trying to relax. Send your breath into those areas, so maybe just closing down the eyes, taking your shoulders away from your ears, lengthening your spine and just starting to fold forward. So breathe in to lengthen and breathe out just to fold forward. So just hold for a couple of breaths, feeling or noticing any tension and just trying to relax on the out breath. So maybe just letting those knees drop a millimetre or two further towards the mat. Lovely, and then inhaling, coming back to centre. So I will just move to the side, but you stay where you are. So with your feet pushed together, I want you to inhale and just bring both of your feet towards the mat and your knees together. We'll move into boat. So just taking hold of your outside edges of your knees, just lean back and just notice or imagine that you have this straight rod from your pelvis all the way out to the top of your head. So you're pulling your navel in towards your spine, you're opening out your chest, your head is long, an extension of your spine. And you may just want to bring your hands down to the mat first of all and just raise both feet off of the mat. So it's about finding that sweet spot from a balancing perspective. So this may be enough for you here, and in fact you can just raise and lower one foot at a time. Or if you're feeling stable, you can bring your arms straight out by your sides. So again, pulling that navel towards your spine, so try not to collapse down in your spine, lift up your chest, keep your shoulders away from your ears. Option as well to bring those legs straight, which is quite intense on your hip flexors, particularly if you have a desk job. Those areas tend to be quite weak. So keeping your shoulders away from your spine, breathing in, breathing out, lowering your feet back down to the floor. So again, pushing your feet together like a book, taking hold of your feet, opening out that book, lifting up your chest and just folding forward. So just tuning into your breath, trying not to collapse, just feel like you're lengthening your spine. Lovely, just another breath here. And then see if you can move in one fluid movement with grace back into your boat pose. So finding that sweet spot from a balancing perspective, lifting up those legs so they're parallel with the floor, your arms are straight out in front of you. Keeping your shoulders away from your ears, your navel towards your spine. Just inhale and exhale. Try not to hold the breath, so just let the breath come in through the nose and out through the nose. And then just dropping those feet back down to the mat, soles of the feet together, lifting up your chest, coming forward. Taking hold of those feet, just opening them out to the sides slightly, so you're opening your feet like a book, lifting up your chest elbows slightly bent, coming just forward. So again, feel like you're lifting your spine up out of your pelvis. So you're not bending at your spine, you're bending from the tops of your thighs. So just holding the posture for a couple more breaths, breathing in through your nose. Lovely, and then coming back up to centre, and then just taking both of your feet onto the mat and pushing yourself up to a standing position. So keeping your hands on the floor and then taking them onto your hips, leading with your head and your chest. Coming up to standing, and then we'll just step our feet along the long edge of the mat about a metre apart. So just imagine if you raise up your arms, your feet are roughly underneath your wrists. So having both of your feet facing the long edge of your mat, and then we'll take our left foot and turn our toes towards the short edge of our mat, just checking in that our heel is in line with the arch of the back foot. And just taking our hands on our hips and making sure that our torso is staying upright. And then bring your arms up to a T shape. And then just taking your glance over your left hand, start to reach your left hand towards the top of your mat, your left foot, and then simply windmill your left hand down towards your left knee, and your right arm comes straight up ahead. So I have a troublesome shoulder, so I'm just going to take my right hand on my right hip, but think about opening out your chest, and then if you wish you can just have the option to take that left hand further down your left leg. But what I don't want you to do is to lean too far forward or too far back. So this is all about opening out in your hip area. Imagine you're in between two panes of glass and you're gliding down, not moving too far forward or too far back. So your front leg is straight, you're pushing into the back edge of your back foot, twisting gently your chest towards the ceiling, and your right arm will be raised. Lovely. And then inhale, pushing into your left foot, leading with your head, bringing yourself back up to standing, and then taking your hands down onto your hips and just turning your left foot towards the long edge of your mat. And then we'll just do a quick forward fold. So breathing in, having your hands on your hips, breathing out, folding forward. So try not to lock those knees out. Maybe have a slight bend in the knee. If you come forward, bringing your head towards the earth. And maybe just let your arms hang for a moment. So feel the underside of your buttocks twisting up towards the ceiling, letting gravity take hold of your spine. So just tuning into your breath, having a few moments of stillness. And then taking those hands onto your hips. Then pushing into the mat with your feet, leading with your head and your chest. Coming back up to an upright position. And then from here, this time we'll take our right foot out towards the short edge of our mat. So placing those toes back down, your heel is in line with the arch of your back foot. So pushing into the outside edge of your back foot. Have your hands on your hips and bring your torso back to an upright position. And then breathing in, raising your arms into a T shape. And then breathing out, looking over your right hand. Start to reach your right hand towards your right toes. And then simply windmill down your right hand towards your right knee. And then bringing that right arm straight up above your head. So this is triangle pose, Trikonasana. So pushing into the outside edge of your back foot. And if you're feeling open, you can start to bring that right hand further down that right leg, but not to the compromise of your spine leaning forward. So if you feel like you're doing that, then just come back up It's about having that opening in your chest, raising that right arm towards the sky. So again, it's finding your edge. Nothing should be painful. It's about finding what feels comfortable for you. So just holding for another breath, and if it feels too much for your upper arm, you can just take your left hand onto your left hip. As long as your chest is open, imagine you're twisting almost your chest towards the ceiling. And then sending the weight into your front foot, breathing in, pushing into the floor, coming back up to standing, turning both feet in towards each other. We'll just take another forward fold, so having your hands in prayer, leading with your head and then your chest, you're coming up and over, down towards the earth. So maybe taking a slight bend in the knee here. And we'll just do a gentle twist. So just taking our right hand towards our left foot. So you can either wrap it round your ankle, or if that feels too far, then just simply bring it onto your calf. And take your left hand on your left hip and just twist your torso round towards the ceiling on the left hand side. And if it feels okay for your left arm, you can bring it up towards the ceiling. So find whatever feels comfortable for you. And then bringing that left arm back down to the earth and just swinging over to the right side. So taking your left hand this time either onto your left foot or ankle or your shin or on the floor, whichever feels more comfortable for you. Taking that right hand on your right hip and just twisting towards the ceiling. And if it feels okay for your arm, you can take your right arm towards the sky. So keeping that length in your spine, you're not collapsing anywhere. And then inhale, coming back down to centre. And then just shuffle your feet in very slightly. And we'll go into a squat, a yogic squat. So just bring your bottom towards the mat. Hands in prayer. And just feel like you're pushing your elbows into your knees and lifting up your chest. So this is a nice opener for your hip flexors. So keep your chest lifted. So this helps build strength. So I want you not to feel like you're just collapsing down. You're really trying to keep yourself active. You're pushing your elbows into your knees. Your chest is lifted. And maybe just gently rock from side to side. So I'm sure you're feeling a bit of heat building in your hip flexors here, so just hold for another breath. Inhale and exhale, and just take your hands behind you and lower your bottom to the floor. And we'll just finish with a wide leg stretch here. So take your legs as wide apart as feels comfortable. Maybe just take your hands behind you just to adjust yourself. And we'll just fold forward. So a couple of options here. You can have your hands behind your back. So feel like you're lifting up your chest and your head out of your pelvis. And then just very gently easing yourself forward. So push into your heels so your toes are pointing towards the ceiling. So you may just want to stay here, or if you wish you can bring your hands in front of you. Again, keeping your chest lifted. And just ease yourself forward. And depending on how open you are in your thighs, you may be able to bring your elbows down to the floor. But I don't want you to curve your back. It's about lifting up your chest and gently easing yourself forward. Lovely. So just hold for a couple more breaths. And then we'll just bring ourselves back up to an upright position and just bring those feet back in front of you, in fact crossing your legs. So I'm going to rest my foot on top of my thigh here, or you can just cross your legs. So find what feels comfortable for you, but if you are resting your foot on your thigh, so I have my knee on the floor, and it's rotating from your thigh, not your knee. So moving that foot up onto your thigh, or just simply having your legs crossed in front of you. We'll just finish with a gentle twist. So again, feel like you're lifting up out of your spine. Your sitting bones are engaged with the mat. Breathing and bringing your arms up overhead, and then taking your left hand down to your right knee, your right arm behind you, lifting up your chest. And feel like you're really opening out across the front of your chest here as you breathe in to extend up towards the ceiling, and breathe out just to move over the right shoulder or twist towards the right, taking your gaze over the right shoulder if that feels good for your neck. Lovely, and then inhale, gently bringing yourself back to centre with your arms up overhead. Breathing out, taking your right hand down to your right knee, your left hand behind you, so keeping your chest lifted. Breathing in and breathing out, start to twist round to look over your left shoulder. So feel both of your sitting bones engaged with the mat, your knees are relaxed down. Lovely, and then inhale, bringing yourself back to centre. So you can just spend a few moments sitting here with your eyes closed, tuning back into your breath. And I'll leave you here. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that. And I will see you again next time. Namaste.